Good morning, folks. It's raining. Less than 10% chance of precipitation today. It's raining. All week last week we got one downpour and we were looking at 50-65% chance of rain and thunderstorms all week. We got a downpour one evening. Ugh. I don't get it. You know, meteorologists spend a lot of money to get that degree. Just to be wrong every single day. Oh, golly. You know, just imagine if doctors had the same success rate as meteorologists. No one would be going to the doctor. There would be no hospitals. We would be doing our own home remedies at home. I don't care what it is. Aneurysms, it doesn't matter. We'd be doing it all at home because we know what would happen if we went to the hospital if doctors had the same percentage of success as meteorologists. Anyway, haven't finished my first cup of coffee yet. It's going to be a fun morning, I guarantee it. As I finish this up, you enjoy whatever libation or beverage that you would like to enjoy. Push pause, relax a few minutes, and when you're ready to come back, come on back. I'll be here. Folks, going to talk to you a little bit about my breakfast this morning. I don't know if any of you have ever purchased Mountain House breakfast, granola and blueberries. Well, I had one, let's see, my first overnighter here at the Secret Fun Spot. Different locations, same area, just different site. And it was pretty good. And it was, I think, it was over $6. $6 for pretty much a bowl of granola. And that's a lot of money for a bowl of granola. And I know granola is usually a little bit on the pricey side. So what I did is I went to my friendly neighborhood, well, which is not in my neighborhood, it's actually a 45-minute drive away, neighborhood Ollie's, and I picked up a package of premium, very ultra high standard, ultra elite, no MSG, no trans fats, organic, you name it. All those fancy things that people pay a lot of money for, okay? That I got a package of that for $3.49. $3.49. And at my local grocery store for $2, approximately, I think it's $1.89, I purchased a package of powdered milk. Now, this powdered milk is actually, the container is broken into 3 individual pouches. Each one of those pouches will make the equivalent of 3 cups of milk. By divvying out the granola and just using 2 packages of the milk, so that would put it well under $6. And using my vacuum sealer, I was able to have 6 granola breakfasts. 6. So that's less than $1 a piece. Now, the one thing with this is whenever you're using a vacuum sealer, if you're not using M.O.L.L.E, you have to be very careful because there's little poinkies all over this granola stuff, and sometimes those little poinkies poink a little hole in your packaging, and you will lose your seal. So what you need to do is, once you've bagged these up and sucked all the air out of them and everything, let them sit for a while. Keep an eye on it. Pick them up. Sort of give them a little squeeze. If you see the package moving and stuff like that, it's not going to work real well, so you need to repackage it. One thing you can do is, since, you know, it's already in here, you can actually fold this around on itself and vacuum seal it again in this. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that will help prevent those little pointy areas from puncturing your vacuum sealing. And works very well. I just go ahead and snip it up close to the seal, put a little cold water in there, and it's 1 cup of milk that can be made of this. But I found that the milk tasted weak when I used a cup, so I use about a half a cup. You get, it's more than enough for the amount of granola that's in here, and it just tastes more rich, more satisfying. Anyway, just a little breakfast trick tidbit to throw in your wild camping bushcrafting bag of tricks, and I'm going to eat me some breakfast. Here she is. 1 package of granola, which is most definitely the same serving size as Mountain House, for less than $1. And had I spent just a little bit more to get the Mylar bag, I would have been very comparable to a Mountain House meal. I could even throw an oxygen absorber in there to suck up all of that oxygen, if I really wanted to be fancy. But this works just fine. And as long as you're using them within about 6 months to a year, I don't think you really have to worry about it. Just keep it stored in a decent area to where it's not exposed to sunlight, a lot of humidity, things like that. These will be good to go. And a lot of these things, like if you're going to do a long trip, do them as part of your preparations. If you're just going to know you're going to be going out 2 or 3 times within a given season or a given time duration, you could do them individually for each one of them. But I fell in love with my vacuum sealer. I think it really does a great job. Can't use it for everything. You can't vacuum pack your entire pack or anything else like that. But for what you can use it for, I find it very convenient. And when you do stuff like this, it saves you a good bit of money too. Okay, folks, I have a pretty crappy thing to dump on you right now, but I'm just gonna wing it. I want to tell you one of my least favorite parts of wild camping, and that's pooping in the rain. I hate it. I hate it. I hate pooping in the rain. Back in my reenacting days, no one wanted to be around me when I was getting ready to go poop in the rain, because I would strip down to my loincloth and I would go take care of business and come back all soaking wet, naked, and I'd dry off and put my clothes back on, because I did not want to wear wet wool and leather for the entire day. Okay, just trying to hold off now, trying to hold off for it to subside just a little bit. Here, it doesn't sound like it's really raining that much. But when you get out there, it sounds like it's raining a lot. Yeah, poop is a pretty interesting subject when you really think about it. I mean, here, I've got my little stainless steel trowel, and I see, on videos on YouTube, especially the little Perky and Sparky just stepping her out there, through hikers. They have all their ultralight everything, and I'm thinking about it. It's like, you know what? When I was in the United States Army, I had an entrenching tool, a little short shovel, okay? And when I went out to make my cat hole, to do my business, I would have the pretty good beginnings of a foxhole, okay? And when I get in position and I cut loose sometimes I would still miss. Sometimes I'd still miss. It has everything to do with pressure and trajectory and things like that. I should have been an artilleryman. That way those things would just come naturally to me. I'd think about those things. But no, I had to be a Cav Scout. I had to be in a reconnaissance. But yeah. So I'm thinking, how many of these YouTubers out there that have their little miniature shovel and they dig their little hole, how many of them hit the mark? I usually wind up having to do a little bit of an underdig to where it sort of falls back into a new hole, and then I use the soil that was at the other one to get on top of that, and it's an excavation operation, and it shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't have to be. You know, we always call them anyway, mountain howitzer, because you can get some distance between you and the cat hole before you cut loose. MREs works a little bit different. They say it kind of block you up and you're walking around all comfortable with a bad mood most of the day. I got poop. Poop's an interesting subject, there's no doubt about it. Well, anyway, I know it's a crappy subject. Sorry for dumping on you. That coffee's kicking in. I'll see you in a few. Now, as I'm waiting to see what the weather's going to do, figured I'd do a little show and tell. This is my, well, it used to be in my bushcraft patrol rig. It was a belt, padded belt with a harness that pretty much allowed me to carry all my must-have items in the woods with me. Everything sort of changed around as I started playing around with my Ruckdiculousness, and especially with Ruckdiculousness 5, when I started using the waist packs, the M.O.L.E waist packs, to put all that stuff in, which actually worked out pretty well because I had to streamline it a little bit, which made it a good bit lighter. What I needed to do was to find a way for me to have my water bottle pouches without putting them on my pack waist belt. I tried it the last time. It did not work well at all. I did not like it. Now I have my harness assembly slung to where it's just at belt level. My rucksack frame with the M.O.L.E panel on it, when I buckle the belt with it, it is right at my belly button, which is right here. What I decided to do is not put anything whatsoever on the back portion to facilitate that pack sitting right here and the belt wrapping around here and buckling. Let's step just a little bit closer so you can see where I've got here. I have my brother's a bushcraft knife. I have a Crusader 2 a British military canteen cook system pouch, and that's all I've got. I still want one of the Crusader 2 cook sets, the whole assembly and everything. And unfortunately, the only thing that I could find online that didn't cost me a small fortune in shipping were several of these pouches. I figured that decent size, I use them for different things. I use this for my GoPro and my other smaller camera equipment I need to get to quickly. And it's got a drawstring. It also has a flap that will close over my camera equipment. I just like to keep it like this when it's not raining or anything, so I can get quick access to it. This water bottle pouch has my titanium, no, it has my GSI Infinity cup in it, and I simply just nest my water bottle, which is the HydroPack water bottle, down inside the cup. I take the lid off, put it in the bottom, slide the cup down inside. Because the insulation that's on the cup, it keeps things from rattling around. On the exterior pocket here is where I keep my Esbit stove and my solid fuel tabs. Going over here, this is a Glock 22 Gen 3 semi-automatic 40 caliber pistol. This is another water bottle pouch, but between the two is a spare magazine of ammunition, just in case I need it. Water bottle pouch with another HydroPack water bottle in there, 1 liter. Both of them are 1 liter. And I have a titanium cook pot, green scrub pad directly underneath it, and directly underneath the scrub pad is the lid. That's pretty much how I have everything set up. And when I put my pack on, I'll do a little video of that so you can see how that goes on, how that fits. And this, if I'm going to run that type of a system with the Alice frame, this is probably what I'm going to be going with, because I'm going to be able to wear that very comfortably with this, and I should be able to have everything I need. Before I get things packed up, I just wanted to get you a real quick walk around with the Light Fighter 1 one-man tent. This is it. And you know, it's very sparse as far as the amount of space goes in it. There is enough room for one person, and very, very little gear in the tent. However, you have very decent sized vestibule areas on the front and the back. And of course, this comes down and zips and doubles the amount of space that you would have there over here. So you can put your entire kit underneath one of the vestibules. And you know, since I'm underneath a rock shelter, I had my camera under the back one when it was fully closed. Let's go and take a look inside. I have a double zip. And on the inside there, I have my, I think it's an Ecotec or something, I forget the name of the pillow. And I have a decent air mattress. If you notice, I have a couple bungees. There's one there and one there. One thing I noticed the last time I used this combo of the Thermarest folding mat with my inflatable air mattress is that they slid apart. I just want to cut a length of bungee cord to hold those into position so they won't slide apart anymore. And my pillow actually has an elastic band that goes around the top to hold it in position. Right there I have my fleece, just in case I needed it last night. I went to bed wet and laid on top of the air mattress, and my Swagman roll, Ecotec Swagman roll, was pushed over on the side. And eventually, probably around 3:30 in the morning, I got chilly enough to pull over top of me, and by that point my clothes were pretty much dry. I'm wearing almost all moisture wicking everything, so my body temperature is able to do the job for me. We'll get inside here so you can sort of get an idea for. Now I'm in here backwards, but I have a really good amount of headspace, which I had a Katoma. I actually have two Katomas. One's a Marine Corps, one's a U.S. Army, and you can't do this in there. This right here, I have room on top, and here we have a couple little tie-out points. I hang lanterns, glasses, things like anything I need. However, there is nothing up here on top. I don't know exactly why that is, but there's nothing up there on top. And I am 5'9", and my feet are touching the other side. So if you are well in excess of 6 foot, I'd say 6 foot would be pretty much it. You're going to be very cramped in this. And if you're that tall, you probably are going to be bumping your head on the top as well. But, you know, so you can open up the vestibules to get airflow. You can also completely lift that up, pull it off to the side for you to be able to expose all of it, the entire screened in area, to maximize that airflow. And that actually works out very, very, very well. Go ahead and get out of here and let you see that. With a bivy tent, there's no graceful way of doing anything. Oh, let's see here. Go ahead and pull that out. Now you can toggle these into position. I'm just going to and that'll maximize your airflow. You can also, and I've seen people do this, actually take the string here pull it through like that to lock it in, and you do that on the front and the back, and you're going to maximize your airflow. And just a few, I'm going to be breaking all this down, and I'm going to show you how I roll everything up and put it in this new M.O.L.E load panel frame of mine. I'm going to do a real quick demo on how I tear down my camp. The first thing that I put down when I set my camp up was my heavy-duty space blanket. So I used my heavy-duty space blanket in order to hold all the packaging, the straps, everything that I have that goes on top of my heavy-duty space blanket. All the bags, straps, things like that I use for those go in here. So as I'm tearing everything down, all that stuff's going to go back inside. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out the tent stakes that I have in there. I have a tent stake bag, and I'm going to remove all the stakes, all of them, even the well, no, I'm not. I take that back. I'm just going to remove the tent stakes, my light fighter. Now, got the stakes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In good shape there. I'm going to go ahead and put these back in here. So where to go? Make sure to put these back as I go. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the fly off the tent. Fold this in half, put it off to the side until I'm ready to roll the whole thing up. Let it roll. Zip that up, put it out of the way. Pillow, air mattresses, folding mattress out of the way. Earplugs and my fleece. That should be everything. Real quick clean. You got to be sort of careful with these. The little nipples on the ends will pull out. The actual tent, you stick off to the side. Holes break down pretty easily. Slide these into the pull bag. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brush off the heavy duty space blanket, and I'm going to be able to roll and fold everything else I need to all of these pieces of equipment I put off to the side on this, so that way I'm keeping it up out of the sand or out of the duff wherever I'd happen to be. First thing we're going to do, we're going to roll up the tent. Make sure that I zip this up completely before I start doing any of the folding. First thing goes down is the inner. Try to get everything centered in this. It looks pretty good. Now I'm just simply going to fold this in half. Okay, and now I'm going to get the fly and fold it up on top of it. Go ahead, zip this up as well, because when I'm folding it, that odd geometry will not be an issue. This in half like this. I want this to be able to fit very, very neatly inside of my tent. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and roll that and fold that into thirds instead of half. Remembered I had to re-roll this in a different way than I normally do in order to fit inside my new pack. There we go. I got my Velcro straps. Now, if you notice on my fly, I'm starting to roll it up on the creased side, so that way the open side is down there to let any accumulated air or trapped air escape. One strap. Two strap. Go ahead and deflate the Trekology inflatable pillow. This is very comfortable, by the way. And the nice thing I noticed is, like, when I lay my head down on the side, this stays away from my ear, and I like that. There's a really nice little feature here. It's a valve, and the nice thing about it is you click it again, you blow it up. It's a one-way valve. And to deflate it, click it, squeeze all the air out, just roll this up. And put it in this nice little bag it comes with. And I also always keep a pair of earplugs in with my pillow. Every once in a while, I wild camp with people that snore. I don't like it. Now, before I roll up my bedroll, I'm going to separate my inflatable air mattress from the folding mattress. I'm going to stick these bungees in my pocket for now. I'll show you what I do with them once I have these things taken care of. We'll go ahead and set the inflatable mattress off on the heavy-duty space blanket and fold this up. This is very lightweight, and as compact as it is, it's still just bulky enough to annoy me. And but oh well. I use these Velcro straps quite a lot. I'm almost out of my roll I bought years ago. And since this sort of like fans out, I have to use more than what I would like to. And the last one. Is ready to put on the pack. Now the Ecotec inflatable air mattress has a different kind of valve system than my pillow does. When you open up the valve cover, there's like a hinge door right in there that clogs the opening from the air escaping. So when you have it in this closed position, you can blow into it, and as soon as you're finished with your breath, that will close again and won't let any of the air out. But when you're ready to deflate it, just push it all the way in there. And I'll do it a couple different ways. First of all, I just roll it in its entirety. That gets a lot of the air out, most of it. And usually I'll do this on the air mattress. Well, not the air mattress, but the heavy-duty space blanket. Like I said, this gets most of the air out. And then I will close that. Open it up. And since I am going to be rolling this in my bedroll, normally I fold it in thirds. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it in half. Go ahead and roll this again. The valve is open. And I'm squeezing this as flat as I can as I go. And as I get toward the end, you'll start seeing the end start to bubble up to where I'm pushing more air up through the valve. And valve is closed. Ready to go ahead and unroll this and incorporate my Swagman roll. I have my air mattress folded in half, laid down underneath my Swagman roll, which is also folded in half lengthwise. On either side of this, I have a Velcro strap positioned ready for me to use them as soon as I get this rolled. This was the only way I could find to get these two items to fit inside the pouches of the load frame. Yeah, I got that. Oh, we're good and tight. And there's the bedroll. Last thing I need to do is pick up my heavy-duty space blanket. Since the ground was good and dry when I placed this yesterday, I don't have to worry so much about wiping the bottom down. Just give it a good shake. And I would say eventually, where I continually fold it the exact same way, that these will begin, especially the corners, to break apart. But so far, it's holding up great. And I have my 4/10 stakes that I always keep with it. And that is the last of my camp. All I need to do now is get everything loaded up on my load frame. Since there were so many fire pits here prior to me being here, and the actual rocks that I used for my fire pit, I simply relocated from right back there. I'm going to leave the fire pit intact. That goes against a lot of your nature as far as leave no trace. I'm coming back. This was like this before I got here, just in a slightly different location. And I'm going to show you just how horrible that firewood was last night. It burnt completely out to where it was nothing but embers by about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Now, to prove to you that I'm not being a bad steward of the forest, digging in deep, it is not even warm. So all of this stuff, there's nothing I'm worried about as far as catching anything on fire. Just make it really dusty and dirty. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get this thing loaded. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to load the panel first. This little area right in here. this is what I want to do first. So that way, when I fold the outside pouches over, I can flip it over and be able to load what I need to in the M.O.L.E frame panel pouches. This was my bushcraft patrol rig items, and I can do this one of two ways. I can turn it like this, and this is my food, hydration, and things like that. Put them in like that, or I can put them like this. Since I came out with them like this, I think I'm going to try it like this time. Now, before I do that, I want to show you how I've got these things configured. Because they have a waist belt on it, I simply just tightened this up as much as I could on the back, folded the belt over after I tightened it up, put Velcro tabs on there, made certain that I used the closure buckles as well as zipping it up all the way because I don't want to lose anything. And as far as this goes, I don't know. I don't like the idea of the buckles banging against each other. I don't know. Let's see. I think we'll try it like that. And we'll go ahead and get the actual panel straps in position. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. But before I put these in, I want to make certain that I put what goes in the back in the back. My heavy-duty space blanket goes in the very back. And my battery pack is going to go next. I'll put these things in now. There we go. I've already taken a couple of batteries out and put those in waterproof containers and put those in my pocket for the trip back just in case I need them. So I've got 2 fresh batteries in the cameras, well, 1 in each camera, fresh battery, and I've got another spare fresh battery in my pocket. Okay, I really like being able to have this down on something flat to be able to tighten these, because you can really get a decent amount of torque on those. I have these little plastic webbing keepers I like real well. You can actually keep them on the webbing, and then they lock into position. Maybe you've seen them. But they do a little bit better job than the elastic bands, because it actually locks into position. I'll put it here, and you can probably hear it lock when I close it. Yeah, it clicked into position. Holds them in there better. Now I'm going to go ahead and do these ones loosely before I tighten them up, because I need to load them before I tighten them down. Looks like things were a little taller. Well, it's probably because of the food I ate. That's okay. Now, let's go ahead and flip this thing over. The first side panel item I'm going to be putting in, or side pocket item, is my bedroll. Now this was a very good snug fit when I put her in here before I came out. But it did fit, and I do believe, let's squish that down a little bit, I'll have room for my pillow in there too. Go ahead and zip these both to the center, and I'm going to use those cords to lock that. Okay, we're good there. We're going to flip her over and load the tent. Okay, we're ready to load the tent in. This is the tent and the fly or I should say the screen inner and the rain fly. Here's the tent pegs, repair kit, my homemade tent stake puller, that's going to go in the top. And the tent poles are going to go to the whole length of the pouch. And go ahead and zip her up. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I do not like them using the same material for these accessory pouches that they use for the rain fly. This material works fantastic for the rain fly. It is, I don't like it for the tent stakes. You try to open it up, it sticks. You try to close it up, it sticks. You have to sort of milk it down. One little, I know they were probably just trying to use up materials that were just going to go in the trash, scrap pieces, and I appreciate that, but I can make my own, I guess, if I don't really like it that much. And go ahead and lock your cord so that way nothing comes out. Here, well, we have one more item to go. Definitely got one more item to go. Right up here on top. Yeah, don't want to forget my folding sleep pad. Get it through in here. Get it nice and even there. Got a couple ladder locks. Get that good and tight. And I even have a couple of those little webbing locks on these. I'll keep those in control. I told you I was going to show you what I was going to do with the bungees that I had holding my folding mat to my inflatable air mattress. If I can get these out of my pocket, I'll show you. Now, with these, what I do, wrap them around like this. And the reason I do this is that they are there with the pad the whole time, and I don't have to worry about looking anyplace else to find them. I just do a regular square knot and a regular shoelace bow. I'm certain that has a name too, but I don't know what that is. And I just put just enough tension on this to keep it, taut. I don't max out the tension on this. I don't want to waste the energy that's in the bungee. There we go. That pack is ready to roll. Here's the complete load panel, loaded up, ready to go. The only thing I still need to do is to put my waterproof pack cover over top of it, and we're great to go. Behind these two pouches are my heavy-duty space blanket, my spare batteries for my camera. This has the remainder amount of food I have from the weekend, my hydration filtration stuff, and I put my fleece in this because I had the extra room. This here is normally what I would be carrying, my must-have items that I used to carry in my bushcraft patrol rig. On this side I have my tent poles, my tent stakes. Over on this side I have my Swagman roll, my inflatable air mattress, and my inflatable pillow. Up on top my Thermarest folding sleep mat, and that is one complete camp. Well, camp is all packed up. Now I'm ready to go ahead and hike back to the vehicle. There's the fire pit. I already told you that I was going to leave in position. Every bit of trash has been packed up in my pack. We have a little bit of extra firewood and fire making items here for next time I come back. You know, pressed up out of the way so they'll stay dry, and they will be accessible. Now, if my experience with this place is accurate, I sincerely doubt that anyone else will be here between now and the next time I get here. Just give you a quick peek of how all this carries together before I take off. I have my belt harness on, my pistol, my water bottle pouches, my camera equipment, my knife, I have my work gloves on here. But as you can see how the waist belt of the pack actually goes above the belt harness assembly. Yes, it is very wide. Everything overlaps each other very, very well. It's very comfortable. The shoulder straps are much more comfortable than what they were before. Have this other pair of padded, they're very lightly padded, but they're still padded suspenders for my belt harness assembly. And this is it. Everything's where I need to get to it, when I need to get to it. If I need to drop the pack, super simple. Snap, snap, zip, boom. It's down and I need to do what I need to do. Pick it back up and do it again. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. So thank you so much for watching. Deeply appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.